Let's be honest, shall we? Job hunting is no walk in the park. From endless application to nerve-wracking interviews, it can feel overwhelming. But did you know that 90% of candidates never hear back from interviews? Surprise, surprise. Not because they're unqualified, but because they're unprepared. What if there was a proven method to almost guarantee you'd stand out and land your dream job? Today, I'm sharing the PrEP method, a game changer that will help you ace your next interview and secure the role that you've been aiming for. Welcome to SCRUMcademy. I am Scott Adams, your Scrum and Money Advancement Coach. In today's episode, I'm going to share with you my PREP method, a simple yet powerful 4-step framework that I use and designed to help you master interviews and land your dream job. Whether you're an Agile professional, a Scrum Master, or transitioning to a new industry, this method will give you the edge you need in today's competitive job market. But however, before we dive in, let me ask you this. Did you read or listen to your Scrum guide today? No worries. You can always check out the first SCRUMcademy video where I read it for you with commentary. This is perfect for your commute or while you're in the gym. Stick around because at the end of this video, I will share how you can take these strategies even further with my exclusive Serial Scrum MasterCLASS and also the 100% Raise Challenge. Let's get to work. Preparation is the foundation of success. Step number 1. The P is for practice. Practice what? You're going to practice mock interviews, resume reviews, refining your elevator pitch, and your interview strategy. Are you nervous? It's about rehearsing until your confidence speaks louder than your nerves. Here's a personal story for you. This was the hardest step for me, and here's why. I didn't believe in talking to myself. When I was younger, I saw 2 types of people talking to themselves. At church, when my mother would be preaching, it would get to a point in the sermon where she would get off the podium and start running around the aisles of the church as well as many other members. And I was a little child sitting in the pew just looking at my mama run around the church with all these other people. In my mind, I never said anything to her. I'm like, crazy people running around the church up and down the aisle, falling out in the floor, When I got home, I did ask because I was confused. Mama, what happened? You failed in church. The Holy Spirit hit. Oh, okay. They would be running around hollering Jesus, hollering hallelujah. You ever been to a church like that? Mm-hmm. That's how I grew up. That's the church I grew up in. Yeah. And the other type of person I saw talking to themselves outside of my grandmother. Oh, grandma, she always talked to herself. I'd be in the kitchen doing something. And I just hear grandma just talking. I'm thinking she talking to me, so I leave what I'm doing. I go back in the room. What did you say, grandma? Oh, I'm not talking to you. I look around the room, man. There's nobody in the room with me and her. Well, grandma, who are you talking to? Jesus. Okay. Now, the other type of person I saw talking to themselves, folks in rags walking the streets drinking wine called Thunderbird in a green bottle. You remember that? Mm-hmm. Or they was drinking a 40 ounce of Schlitz malt liquor bull, Colt 45, or Old Gold, Old English 800 would be one of the choices that I saw people walking, drinking some type of alcohol, and talking to themselves as if somebody was literally in front of them, beside them, on either side, talking. But I didn't see no. The person was invisible. I'm probably like 5, 6 years old at this age, right? First time I'm ever seeing something like this. Honestly, I thought all 3 scenarios in which I seen people talk to themselves, I thought they was absolutely crazy and lost their cotton-picking mind. And I wanted to have no part of it. But I eventually got past my belief and practice in front of a mirror. Now, talking to myself has become one of the most powerful tools I use for growth. Here's what I discovered. When I talk, I can hear myself. and check my voice variations, tonality, and the like. I can think it in my mind, but I can't hear myself to verify and validate those things. Am I coming across with the right tonality? And do I have the right voice variation? Blah, blah, blah. I can envision myself having eye contact, but the others is pretty difficult to simulate, if you will, without talking to yourself, having somebody in the room to give you feedback. But I didn't have anybody. I was getting ready for my interview, let's say tomorrow. Nobody's around. I did call some friends, but nobody was available. So, Scott, what did you? Got in front of the mirror the first time, and it felt very uncomfortable. Because I'm thinking about the people running around the church. I'm thinking about the people I saw out on the street. I had a little alcohol in their hands. And I'm also thinking about my grandmother. And I remember getting a few chastising as a child for talking to myself in my room to my toys. Mama came in. Who you talking to? John? John who? My toy John? But John can't talk. So yeah, I was conditioned as a child. Don't talk to yourself. Did you have that same conditioning? It's bad to talk to yourself. So that was just one of those things I just had to overcome. I can think it in my mind, but I can't hear it to verify it's coming across as intended. I think this is one of the most important steps. One, because it's going to help you get over your belief systems. If you don't like talking to yourself, you're first going to have to get over that. And then once you begin to practice, you will see an awful lot of things about your gestures and things of that nature that people can see as well. Now, when I'm preparing to give a speech, here's a super duper pro tip for you. You and I know that when we go to the interview, we can't guarantee we're going to get the job or not. But what we can guarantee is that we're going to articulate what we want to articulate. You have total control over that. So I think of an interview much like giving a speech at Toastmasters or wherever I may be giving a speech. Here's what I learned in my speaking career. There are 3 types of speeches. There's the speech that you prepare to give. There's the speech that you actually give. And then when the event or situation is over, there's always the speech or the talk or the something that you wish you had said. Has that ever happened to you? Yeah, I bet it has. You're leaving the interview, you're leaving somewhere or talking to somebody. Oh, I wish I'd have said that. And that would have been the perfect thing to say in that particular situation. Yeah, that's why we want to practice. So when I go to the interview, when I'm practicing for an interview or a speech, I use the same technique whether I'm doing both. I'm looking at it from the standpoint of what is it do I want to communicate? And when I go to the interview, my question is, when I leave the interview, I'm asking myself, did I communicate what I want to communicate? If I did, yes, that's a win for me. If I did not, then now I'm going to use the other steps to inspect and adapt. That sounds like Scrum, doesn't it? Yes, it does. Indeed. So that's step 1. Now let me give you an example. Lisa, one of my students, was terrified of behavioral questions like, tell me about a time you faced a challenge. You know you're going to get that question in some form or fashion. You know you're going to get it. So be ready. We practiced mock interviews until our answer was clear, concise, and compelling. She aced her next interview and secured a Scrum Master position with a $50,000 raise. Without practice, you might stumble over basic questions, giving the impression that you're unprepared, even if you're the perfect fit for the role. Here's a pro tip. Write down your top 3 strengths. Scott, do you have any weaknesses? No, I don't have any weaknesses. What do you mean you don't have any weaknesses? I have opportunities for improvement. See, yeah, that's another strategy. That lets them know my values are. I'm very aware of the words that I use to myself and also to others. So weakness, the word weakness, but I will use the word opportunities for improvement. Write down your 3 strengths, your 3 opportunities, and examples of your impact in every role. Practice delivering these responses like a pro until you're confident and not that nervous. You're not trying to eliminate nervousness. That's just a part of you showing up. You're anxious. Nervousness can actually be your friend. So long nervousness is not because you're not prepared. But nervousness is, hey, I want to do a good job. You're rehearsing in your mind before you get in front of this person, before you give this speech. That's just part of the process. Yeah, you're nervous, but when them lights turn on, when the camera's on, you in that interview, wherever you may be, delivering what it is you're going to deliver, game on. Got your game face on. Let's get it. Sorry.
Hey!
Step number 2. The R stands for research. Before any interview, understand the company's mission, values, leadership team, and recent projects. Show them that you've done your homework. They're likely to check you out on LinkedIn, so why don't you do the same thing? Check them out too. Kevin, another student, applied for a project manager role and discovered the company was focusing on AI initiatives. During the interview, Kevin mentioned how Scrum could enhance their AI product delivery. Problem? He's providing a solution. The hiring manager was so impressed, he got a newly created job as a product owner on the spot. Many success stories about that. Part of what we're going to teach you in the mock interview in the Serial Scrum MasterCLASS is you may be going there to interview for that particular job, but you've done your homework. You see some other problem that they have, and you might want to have a role created specifically for you. Oh, I know hundreds of people who I've mentored to do the same thing. Why? Because they're talking about that particular position. They're solving that problem for that particular company. Just another thought for you. Going into an interview without research is like going into a sprint without a backlog. You'll lack direction and miss opportunities to demonstrate your value. Here's a pro tip for you. Look for recent articles or social media posts by the company's leadership. This can give you conversation starters that will set you apart from everybody else. Step number 3. The E is for engage. Actively listen, communicate your value clearly, and ask insightful questions. Now, engagement is a two-way street. Don't just answer questions. Show them why you're the solution they need. Sarah, a student of mine, just didn't answer questions. She asked, what are the biggest challenges your team faces with Agile adoption? You see, her engagement shifted the dynamic, showing her as a problem solver, not just as a candidate. Of course, she landed the job, and she now is a key player in their company-wide Agile transformation. Failing to engage in an interview can make you seem disinterested or unprepared, no matter how good you smell or your resume looks. Pro tip for you. Prepare 3 to 5 questions beforehand. For example, a question that you can ask them. What does success look like in my role over the first 90 days? It lets them know you're being proactive. There's several different versions you can ask that same question. But the point of it is, the takeaway from you asking that question is they can clearly see that you've thought about this question. Now, the worst thing that you could ever do is when they get to that part of the interview, they ask you, do you have any questions? And you say, no. Game over.
Hey!
Step number 4. The P is for persist. After the interview, follow up with a well-crafted message that reiterates your interest and highlight key takeaways from the conversation. Now, when you do this, really zero in on something, quote unquote, that they said that stuck out in your mind. Use that as your baseline. That's going to show them that you was actively listening to them in the interview. You identified also in that, reiterating the problem that you can solve for them. Exactly. Want to make sure those type of things are in your follow-up letter. Now, Scott, what if I don't have the person's email? I'm thinking about it in my case. I deal with a lot of recruiters. That's fine too. So in that case, you're going to send it to the recruiter and ask the recruiter to send it to the hiring manager. That's just a way to stick out more so than anybody else. One of my students, I'm thinking about Michael. After his interview, he sent a personalized thank you email summarizing his understanding of the company's goals and how his skills align to those objectives. That follow-up email earned him a second interview and eventually the job. Skipping the follow-up can make you forgettable. Even if you perform well, don't let the lack of persistence be the reason you overlook. Here's a pro tip for you. Send that thank you email within 24 hours, referencing a specific topic that was discussed during the interview to keep the conversation alive. Tying it all together for you. This PREP method aligns perfectly with the DRIVE framework we use in the Serial Scrum MasterCLASS. Define, articulate your dream role and align your preparations with it. Refine, hone your skills, resume, and pitch during the practice step. Implement, apply your research and engagement strategies during the interview process. Validate, use the feedback from your mock interviews, real interviews, and your experiences to refine your approach. Elevate, master negotiation, and follow-ups to secure your position and compensation. Close the deal. It's time. Let's elevate your career and make this year your breakthrough year. Start your journey with these exclusive opportunities designed to transform your career and financial trajectory. 1. Apply for the Serial Scrum MasterClass and join a high-impact limited seating program to supercharge your job hunt and career growth. Seats are limited. Apply for your spot now. 2. You can join the Give Yourself a 100% Raise challenge at the end of this month. Perfect for those ready to take immediate action on their income goals. This challenge is completely free for now and supported by our mission to help 1,000 Scrum practitioners to become millionaires. Our first goal was to train 10,000 minority Scrum Masters. Wouldn't it be cool if we can help 1,000 Scrum Agile practitioners or to-be practitioners become a millionaire faster than the normal 10-year trajectory? And we're helping individuals to do that now. I would love to help you. Now, in both classes, you're going to hear directly from the outstanding overachieving 8. Who are they? These are the first people that I took up under my wing, showed them how to build legendary teams, and make an awful lot of money in doing so. They're featured in my book, Mastering Millionaires. So you're going to learn from them the exact steps they took to achieve millionaire status while mastering the same frameworks that you will explore. Real stories, actionable insights, and game-changing results. So act now. Many of my one-on-one students started with the challenge to gain insights that we don't even teach in the masterclass. So don't wait to invest in your future. Tomorrow's coming whether you're ready or not. Success isn't something that you can pay for on credit. You have to put in the time and pay for it up front. It's like planting a seed. You can't eat your seed and expect a harvest in the fall. No, you got to plant the seed, water it, nurture it, let it do its thing, and then you will have a harvest in harvest season. But you got to plant it first. You have to do something first, and then you get to success. The links are below in the description where you can apply for the Serial Scrum MasterClass, and you can register for the 100% Raise Challenge. Your career is the most important project, so please treat it like one. Optimize, iterate, and strategize your way to success today. Before we leave, which part of the PREP method feels the most challenging to you? I told you mine. The first step, right? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I would love to help you out. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with everyone. Let's help more Scrum Masters and job seekers to succeed together. And next time we'll talk about the 10 lessons I wish someone had told me before I started as a Scrum Master. Why didn't you tell me? I had to learn it on my own. Why didn't you tell me? That's okay. I'm going to tell you and everybody else the 10 things I wish somebody had told me when I got started. In the meantime, be agile, do Scrum, and be super duper legendary in all of your endeavors. I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you for your support.